The man accused of causing the fire in Parliament on Sunday has been identified as 49-year-old Zandile Christmas Mafe. The state alleges that he entered the building unlawfully and placed explosives in the precinct. On the charge sheet, the state says the accused was caught in possession of items such as laptops, crockery and documents.
He's facing 5 charges currently. Those charges include housebreaking with intent to steal and theft, 2 counts of arson, possession of an explosive device, and destruction of essential infrastructure.
The case was postponed to allow the state to collect more information related to the bail application. It wants to verify the accused's residential address, establish if he's a flight risk, and confirm if he has assets. The state will also determine whether he has any pending cases or warrant of arrests against him. The Hawks believe they have a solid case.
We can confirm that we've got the right person. The person was found at the scene. As we earlier indicated that he was arrested at the premises, which is a parliament, and he was found in possession of certain items. Other items are believed to have been stolen in parliament. Other items, as indicated, as was already indicated in court, there are items that were found in his possession, but we cannot explain or give details at this stage, as all those things are still subject to investigation.
The accused lawyer, Atule Joka, says his client denies and rejects the charges.
This is not the person who is supposed to be apprehended. This one is a scapegoat. One would even question if now I will venture out, maybe I will come back to what you're asking. What interest would that poor man have in Parliament? Banning Parliament. How would that person get access to Parliament to start with? And how would he know where to go in Parliament and ban? It's clearly a scapegoat.
Meanwhile, the fire and rescue services have confirmed that the National Assembly was gutted.
The new National Assembly, which is that going straight to the doors, that is completely destroyed from bottom right through to the top. The old National Assembly, my understanding, is where the gym area is and offices where that is destroyed and indicated. It's on the 5th floor, but the floors beneath that has got smoke and water damage.
Parliament says the task to rebuild will be enormous. The institution says remedial action should be taken if there was a dereliction of duty.
South Africans want answers. The presiding officers, every stakeholder of Parliament want answers, and therefore the authorities that are responsible are quite aware that there is a lot of anxiety, and we are hopeful that no stone will be left unturned.
Another reason for postponement is to allow investigators to visit the crime scene following the intense fires. The state wants the man to be charged with Schedule 5 so that the onus lies on him to prove that he is not guilty of the charges. Meanwhile, his defense wants the man to be charged with Schedule 1 and the onus lies on the state to prove that the man is guilty of all the charges. He will appear again next week on Tuesday. Atule Joka, SABC News, Cape Town.
And Atule Joka is in Khayelitsha now, where the suspect lives, and joins us. Atule, maybe you can clarify the initial confusion around whether he was homeless or not, and what are the people who live around him saying?
Well, indeed, Francis, this is one story that leaves you with more questions than answers. We have arrived here in Khayelitsha. This is the address that the man gave to court today when he made his first appearance. We understand that the state asked the court case to be remanded until next week, the 11th, because they still wanted to establish some of the information about him, as you heard on that package, that they wanted to know if his residential address is a fixed one, if he stays here, also if he has any assets, if he has any family, and also maybe if this is his home. And where does he work? So they wanted to establish some of those elements, Francis. Another thing that they wanted to get was maybe he has any criminal convictions against him, whether he has any warrant of arrest that have been put against him. So the state has asked for an extension. Another thing that they wanted to do was for investigations to also be ongoing because they have not had any time to go inside the parliamentary precinct to conduct any investigations. So what they wanted to do was to go inside the parliament after all the flares have subsided, to go and conduct an investigation so that they can prove any of those allegations that have been put into place. We understand that according to the charge sheet of the National Prosecuting Authority, the man was found with explosives, and also after the fire had broke off, he was also found with some of the possession of the parliament, some of the property of the parliament, such as the laptop, the crockery, and so forth. So those are the things that played out in parliament. So what we decided to do today was to come here in Khayelitsha, where the man said he resides. The reason I said this case is leaving us with more questions than answers is because we spoke to some of the residents there, and they said, yeah, we know this person, but he has seemed a bit unstable. But another element that I want you to be aware of, Francis, they said that he has not been here for too long. Maybe it's been just a month since the man has been staying here, so they cannot make a full, comprehensive report on him. But I will be joined with one of the residents who's also a neighbor who used to see the guy when she is going to work. Mama, warm welcome and to SABC News. Utata lona wauke wambona pekuhlaleni uye wathi xa umbona nje pha ezindabeni zaBande.
Ya, ndimbonile utata kulanda wahlala kuyo. Lo tata mna ndimbona kusasa xa ndiphangelayo kuba pha kusasa abantu banqabile, so xa ubona umuntu phambi kwakho ufuneka umqolasele uba ngumuntu otheni na. Xa ndibona lo tata ngutata ophethe iplastikana, xa ndimjongile ngumuntu ogqiba uklina iyadi, then abesethatha iplastiki zakhe abesewela indlela lena uwela kuqala apha esikrobeni apha kum, ndibe ndisiza apha emva kwakhe. Xa ndimjongile ingathi ngumuntu lungekho right, andimazi ke because ke andingogqirha, but ukhangeleka engumuntu ongekho right. Abantu abanomazi in details laa mntu lowa ngaba bantu bebemfakile kulaa ndlu ngokuba erenta uzandisile Nkohla, urenta kuye, so inoba nguye umuntu ozawumazi into uba uburayithi bakhe noburongo bakhe. Kwa the first time wayefika ezofuna indawo ohlala, nguye wam asesa inoba ngumuntu onjani. Mna andimazi, but ukumbona ndimbonile kona.
Xa ubumjongile wava neli tyala nokutsha kwale palamente ngolu hlobo, into ethe wayifanisa naye le.
Kuba ke ungenawuthi into ayifani nomntu xa seyifaniswa naye, ingangathi mhlawumbi ndibaleka netyala, andibaleki netyala. But xa ndimjongile ubhutiza lo noko izitulo ziwile palamente. Akho right. But ke andimazi ngoba ke andingogqirha, but khangeleke ngokho right.
Budla ngombona mhlawumbi nini ngawapha amaxesha mbethanda ukwenza ntoni?
Ya, ndimbona phaa ngoma past 7, sometimes ndiphuma endlini 10 to 7. So xa sendihamba kule ndawo, because xa ndihamba kule ndawo xa sendisithi phaa kwesasikroba, because ndingenela kwesasikroba, xa sendimbona phaya ndiye ndime apha ngakulaa drain ndimjonge kuqala uba ngumuntu otheni naluhamba phambi kwam. Xa ndimjonga uba ndilaa tata uphuma phaya.
Bethanda ukwenza ntoni xesha
Ungumuntu othanda uklina iyadi, unamaphepha, umuntu othehleli nje unamaphepha. Benike nambuza komnye umuntu uba ngutata otheni lona, because lo tata ndiyamoyika, kathiwa no ufunde kakhulu ngoku uyaxeqa.
Thank you so much. Well, this is one of the residents just giving an account of the man that has been accused of this, something that I wouldn't call it a treason, chances, but it's a very serious charge. We understand that they also wanted to charge him under the National Key Points Act, which means this is someone who has been in breach of the act that is meant to protect the very same buildings that the government has declared as the national point. But one of the neighbors here saying she has always seen her when the guy, when he's going to work, he's always picking up trash, he's always picking up wood, he's always cleaning. He said he seemed a bit unstable, and he used to ask some of the people, what is happening with this guy? And they said to her, they will always relay to her and say, maybe he is too educated. So this question again, Francis, leaves you with too many questions than answers, because again, the neighbors here cannot give us a full account of the man because it's not been long since he has stayed here. So you don't know what to make of the story. But I will ask my colleague Arif Khan to just pen to the right to just show you some of the neighbors who have come out here. These are some of the neighbors who have come out here. As you can see, some of the people are running away, Francis, and also some of the people were scared to speak to us. But the man will be appearing again in court on the 11th of January, facing those 5 counts of charges, as I rightly pointed them out. If I can just reenact and check them again for you, Francis. Some of the counts that he is facing is housebreaking with intent to steal and theft, 2 counts of arson, possession of an explosive device. Francis, this is the situation here in Khayelitsha. Back to you, studio.
Atule, if you can hear me, maybe you can explain where did he live? So you say residents say he was only there recently. Was this a house, a backyard, a dwelling, a shack? Just tell us a bit more about the conditions he was living in, if you were able to see the property.
Yeah. Where I'm standing, most of the houses here, I'll also ask my colleague again to pan to another side, just show you the street. What you see here, these are houses, these are brick and mortar structures. Most of the houses here. So most people of this area do stay here, and I understand the landlord and the owner of the place that he was renting also stay in the street. And I'll also ask my colleague to also kindly pan to the right again. And then I'll show you Francis, just deep down there is a corrugated iron structure. It's made with corrugated iron sheets. This is where the man was staying. And we understand in that place, he was renting from one of the residents who stays in one of these brick and mortar structures. So he stayed there. It's not been long since he came here. The residents say maybe it's been a month or so since he got here, and they've always seen him cleaning. He's always seen unstable. And when he asked, people said he is too educated. But the corrugated iron structure there in the corner, it is where the man lived, it's where he rented. So there is no family of his here. This also begs another question, because Parliament wanted to find his exact fixed address. So when they go there and find out that he is renting, because his lawyer was arguing that he is not a flight risk. So the prosecution's team came here to determine whether he has a fixed address, whether he has his own home. So it will beg another question, because now he is renting there, and surely he does not have assets that are belonging to him. So that could possibly make him a flight risk. So we don't know maybe whether his lawyer maybe did not come forward with the truth inside that court precinct. But those are the questions that will play out, and we will hear more about Francis. But that house right there is where he was renting. I did not want to cross in front of that house, because he is renting. It does not belong to him. So I also wanted to respect that space as well.
Yes, let's try and respect everybody's privacy. So you're just giving us a far vantage point from the street. Thank you very much.